This is Sounds Like Adventure, an actual play podcast all about fun roleplay, short runtimes, and great sound design. I'm your host and DM, Jack Trainer, and I'm joined by my co-hosts and players, Jacob Sirachi and China Wenzel. Hey there, welcome back. It's episode 8 of season 2 of Sounds Like Adventure. Thanks for joining us again. It's me, Jack. Hey, how you going? Huge episode for you today. So we are getting very, very close to the end of season 2. We're extending it a little bit longer than we did for season 1. But hey, there's only a few more episodes to go. So make sure you don't miss anything over the next few weeks. But hey, before we get into today's episode, don't forget, Sounds Like Relict, it's happening on Thursdays, episode 3. It's only a 4-episode season, so check out the second last episode on Thursday this week. But now, today, this episode. So you remember from last episode, Odis and Sioc, they did some sleuthing, trying to find some clues, see if they could find Carrie Canary. And what they found was a elfish woman who was really protective of the artists. And then, after hearing a weird music note, Odis decided to do some recon while invisible. But somehow a very strange man was able to spot him and draw him into the VIP room as if by magic. So we'll find out what this man is all about. But hey, before that, let's do a little D&D 101. So a few episodes ago, we spoke about points of inspiration. We spoke about how you get them and how they can influence the game. But what do they actually do in terms of gameplay? Well, they're really powerful because one of the main things you can do is basically choose to make a roll with advantage. And the way a lot of people play that out is basically they'll let you just re-roll and roll. So you could fail a check and then choose to roll it again. The rules technically say you should probably declare you're going to use it before you know the result. But hey, we're pro player here and we like to have fun. So with all that in mind, let's get into the next episode of Sounds Like Adventure. So when we pick things up, you guys are sitting in the VIP room across from this strange man who seemed to somehow just magically draw you guys into this room, and he could see Odis despite Odis being invisible. So you're sitting there and he starts to speak to you guys. Well, I haven't seen any of you boys around here in a very long time. Starting to think you didn't like this place no more. You guys have never been here.
A pleasure to see you again.
We've met?
Sioc just looks at him and like, don't recall you at all. It's my first time being here.
Neither do I, but you addressed me with such familiarity. I feel like I must have forgotten.
Takes like a long draw on the cigarette and the smoke still covering his face. He says, some have forgotten more than they'll remember.
Can I get an insight check on this guy? Just more to see if there's ill intent here.
Sure, go for it.
That would be a 10.
So ever since you started hearing this note, you started to feel that sense of like happy sadness, that sense of something, of knowing something unknowable. And since you've come in this room, and since you sat down, you just felt like this overwhelming sense of like peace.
Odis would pick up the drink, would lean forward to take the drink that he's poured off the table towards him, say, well, if we haven't met, Odis is the name. And yours.
I know you boys. We haven't met, but I know you boys. But you're friends. I ain't seen none of your friends around here in a long time. Used to be around here all the time, right nearby. It's a bit of a homecoming for y'all?
Well, I always lived here for a while.
And how would you know our friends?
Long draw on the cigarette again, more smoke. I've been around a while, you see. You meet people, you know? When you frequent establishments like this.
Odis across the mind link to Sioc. Brother, I think he knows that we are Runai. Then, have I seen his face yet?
No.
Ooh. Odis extends a hand to shake his hand, to see if he will shake it as well.
Smoking the cigarette at the time, and he puts it in his mouth and draws deep from it, shakes your hand.
Okay. Do I notice human hand, or like can I discern like human Aarakocra or
Human.
And Otis says, and what might we call you, good sir?
Blows the smoke out again. What's in a name, friend?
Well, we seem to be at a loss. You know us, but we don't know you.
And he doesn't answer the question, and he says, boys like you don't come here unless you're looking for something. What are you boys looking for?
We're looking for many things, but let's just say that we are on a job.
I know that. It's funny, people who usually come to the wizard's nephew, they ain't trying to be found. They're usually trying to get lost. You looking for someone who ain't trying to be found, maybe?
Could be the case.
For your friends. I ain't seen them around in a long time.
Which friend?
I think you boys know who I'm talking about.
I believe that I may, and I haven't seen them either. Part of the reason why we are here.
Where'd they go?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I am one for guessing.
How long has it been since you've seen one of our friends?
Long time. How do you know they even still here on this mortal soil?
We don't.
And he looks at you hard and he says, maybe they ain't.
Quite possibly not. But our endeavors are looking to solve that mystery.
Oh, you'll solve it.
And how would you know that?
Just a feeling. Guess. Gamble.
The same sort of feeling that led me into this room.
I think so.
I think so too.
All right, boys, you should drink up.
Otis takes a very cautious sip.
And like immediately, like you're energized. You can feel like everything coming back to you in that moment. Like every bit of energy that you've elapsed fighting the kobolds, it all comes roaring back.
What kind of class does the drink come in?
Whiskey tumbler.
So it's just gonna take it and pour it into his pineapple glass and then sip from the straw.
The man says, well, all right then.
In one last attempt, Otis says, I appreciate it, Mr.
All right, boys. I think your show's starting. You don't want to miss this one. And you turn around and the curtain out of the VIP area is flapping and you can hear that music has started. And somehow there's quite a lively energy outside that you like didn't notice all of a sudden.
Otis puts the glass comfortably back on the table, nods to Sioc, nods to the mystery man, and gets up to leave.
I very much peer into the smoke and look at this guy and take in as much as possible. See if I can make out any details.
Yeah, sure. So black suit, black shirt, black tie, human hands, black shoes, and a face completely obscured by smoke.
Sioc gazes at those hands and imprints them into his memory as he will recognize those hands again if he sees them. And then he winks, gives the guy a thumbs up, and strolls out.
Get it's like you feel a smile from behind the smoke as you do that. Then on your way out, the man he calls out to you, Otis, and he says, Otis, let me ask you something.
Otis does not turn, but stops. And just says, yes.
Where I'm from, a man faces a man when he talks to him.
And where I'm from, a man will give his name.
Face me, I'll give you my name.
Otis turns.
You turn around, and in that moment when you turn, everything changes. And you're not in the VIP area anymore. You're on a wide open, flat plain. And it stretches like far and wide around you in all directions. And off in the distance, there's a flock of wild horses just roaming around this boundless field. And above you is this sky that's just filled with more stars than you've ever seen. And despite the land feeling totally boundless, the sky feels even bigger, like it makes the land small in comparison. And you feel this overwhelming feeling that you felt before, like that happy sadness, that sense of some inevitable understanding washes over you. And standing in front of you is the man. And he turns to you and he says, "Don't be alarmed. I just want to take you somewhere private to talk."
Can Otis just do a quick glance around to see if he recognizes the area?
Yeah, it's like otherworldly. Like it's like it just stretches so far off into the distance. It's like some incomprehensible space.
Otis looks around in wonder. I think he'd be in shocked silence at this point. Like Otis is like he's magical. He's got a fairly extensive magical skill. So something on this scale being so out of his bounds, I think would put him in a shocked, like stunned silence, understanding the gravity of what's just happened.
So a white horse rides up and comes up to the man, whose face is not obscured with smoke anymore. And the horse passes in front of him and he puts his hand out and he lets his hand sort of stroke the horse as it rides past. And then as it passes, you see his face in full view, and it's just a man's face. There's nothing extremely remarkable about it. Black hair. And he says, "My name. Something I haven't given in a long time. Before they carried my body to the Green River and cast me adrift among the marshes. I walked the same mortal soil as you. I sang songs, I was known. But I saw many things in my time. Many wrongs, many injustices. And I donned this black raiment. And I've never removed it. It was my way of saying that until these wrongs were righted, I'll be standing there, wearing the black. So I tell you now, my name, the only name I have, is the Man in Black."
Otis, trying to recoup himself, puts his hand out and says, "A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Man in Black."
And shakes your hand.
I think Otis would rack his brain, though, for anything he can link this to.
I think, yeah, like Otis probably has viewed like religion academically, right? Like he's probably looked at books and stuff in terms of trying to understand things. So yeah, what's his best score in terms of history or religion is what I'll get you to roll.
Oh, my history is much, much higher. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a history. And this is not a mainstream piece here. So I do want you to beat a 15, but I think because Otis is a scholar, like a book person, he should make this roll with advantage, basically.
That will be a 21.
That's going to do it. Love it. All right, so you're racking your brain thinking of what you've read, and something pops up into your mind. There's a book that you read long ago called Strange and Esoteric Gods and Where to Find Them. And you remember right at the end of this book, there is like a very brief page on this god, and it's called the Man in Black. And the Man in Black is the god of righteous murder. His followers don the black, and they dress in all black clothes as a sacrifice to others who are suffering, and they punish wrongdoers. And they present in this somber tone. They present no joy in what they do. They serve no kings, abide no laws. Basically what they do is they arrive, they murder someone who has done wrong, and they move on. And there's no atonement for the acts of the wrongdoer. So from the eyes of the followers of the Man in Black, once they've come to enact their justice, the only thing that can happen is the person has to die. And they consider like these acts of righteous murder an act of freeing the soul of its earthly wrongs. And they, like a big phrase that they consider is that they are letting these souls fly like eagles out among the stars.
I don't think he would know what to do with the information in the situation. Mr. Man in Black, is there an eagle you wish for us to let fly among the stars?
Sort of like cocks his head a little bit and he chuckles to himself. No, none of that. I'll bring you here because I've been watching you. The way you speak to people, the way you value kindness. And I wanted to give you my favor. And you feel something drop into your pocket.
Yeah, Otis would glance down at his pocket, and then collecting himself, take it out and open his hand.
It's a packet of cigarettes. And on the packet, it says Black Leaf Tobacco. And he says, if you ever find yourself in need, in dire straits, smoke one of these, and I will come and rain down my righteous fury on your enemies. I will lay me down over troubled waters for you to cross. But know this, my assistance comes with a terrible cost, and the piper must be paid.
I understand, Mr. Man in Black. I will use them wisely. While we are in a private area, though, any guidance you can give me and my brother on finding our friends, as you so called them.
There's wheels in motion that are hard to stop. And it's not the place of the Man in Black to read you the script before it happens. But I'll leave you with one final warning. You'll face many trials on your journey. You know not what it is you truly face. But when you reach the end of your path, you'll see a white rider, and you'll need to make a terrible choice. But choose you must, and choose wisely. There's more riding on this hand of cards than you can imagine. And then you're standing in the VIP room, and Sioc is standing up out of his chair and winking at the Man in Black.
Oh, boy. I think... Am I holding the cigarettes?
Yep.
Otis would hurriedly put them into his pocket. I don't feel like he would reveal it to Sioc what's just happened yet, though. I think he would continue to walk out the room.
So, Sioc, from your perspective, you stood up, you winked at this Man in Black guy. That's where you are now. Nothing else happened. You didn't hear the part where he asked Otis to turn around, basically. Do you guys do anything on the way out? Sioc, do you say anything on the way out of the room?
I think Sioc feels like he did a really cool, like he left really cool, like giving the wink and the thumbs up, and then just like really coolly and collected strolled back out.
Sioc's like, see what I did there? Pretty cool, right? Otis is like, yes, very cool. What you say.
Yeah, Otis is like shaken to the core.
So you guys make it back out of this area, and as you come out, like the whole scene of the room has changed. It's like, how long were we in there? And somehow you missed the band start. The crowd is just like teeming now. There's a bunch more of the brown coat folks around. And that elf woman is just gone. But there's people up on the stage. And the other thing you notice before we get to the people on the stage, Bobby Elfish is back in here even. And he's dancing around. He's having a grand old time. And shockingly, he's dancing with the Scarred guy. Like they're friends now.
Otis takes note of this and just nods to himself as in, yes, as I thought. Like as in, he knew that Bobby would worm his way out of it somehow,
So the band that's playing, right? It's like this. It seems like this is the part of the show that everyone was waiting for. Everyone's really into the show. And there's this big imposing guy at the front. Looks like the lead singer. And he's in one of the brown robes, but he's got the hood pushed back on it so you can see his face. Got a big bald head. Behind him are two guitar players, but they're in the brown robes as well. They also have their hoods pushed back. And then there's the drummer. And the drummer has the robe, or the hood of the robe, covering their head.
Otis will sidle his way over to where Alira was.
Okay, so you got to pick your way through the dance floor. So it's a bit of a challenging endeavor. So you start doing that. Sioc, what are you doing, rather?
Sioc, as soon as he steps into the music, puts on dance mode and makes his way to the front, dancing with Bobby. And this guy he doesn't know.
So you can't get to the front because there is like a full wall of people. It's like very difficult to just barge to the front at a concert like this. So you're a few rows back.
In that case, Sioc will take a leaping jump and crowd surf to the front.
Ooh.
Give me the roll, the acrobatics roll on this. Slick floor at a pub, jumping. Like, let's get a 15.
One side says 11. Yeah, it says 26. Well, unfortunately, it's the 11.
Yeah, we're going to take the 11.
Yeah, wait, I'm not getting any advantage, I don't think.
No, you're not getting an advantage on this, mate.
But I've got inspiration.
Oh, he does.
Just gonna roll acrobatics again.
Let's go again. Can he do it?
15. Got it. Word it.
What's it look like as you crowd surf across this group of bros?
Kind of like jumping off a cliff where they're like at the peak, they stretch up and it looks like he's like hanging in the air. And then he's like surfing the hands and heads. And he like swims across the crowd towards the front where he sees Bobby going nuts. So
get over to the front. You're in this little carved open area where Bobby's there dancing with the scar-faced gentleman from before. And as you get close, you notice there's like a magical barrier from the stage that would stop you from climbing up on the stage.
Can I roll to see if I still have my drink?
Yeah, give me a sleight of hand then. How crafty are you as you're diving and rolling?
About 8 out of 20 crap.
Yeah, you spill it. You just spill it with an 8.
That's all right.
Great. So yeah, no drink, but you are at the front. But you do notice there's like a magical barrier. Music that's playing sort of like very aggressive hip-hop music. And then as you get there, the band stops playing and the singer starts to speak. And he has just like an extremely unsettling voice, this guy. It's almost like he has two voices, one speaking underneath his normal voice.
Well, you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to bring one of y'all up here to participate.
And he points out Bobby Elfish. And he goes,
You! Get up here, boy.
And the magical barrier drops down and Bobby clambers up on the stage, super excited. Magical barrier immediately clamps back on. All of a sudden, Bobby's up there. And the guy starts speaking again. And he goes,
Well, look at what we got here. We got a genuine buddy boy. What you doing round here, bud boy? Down here slumming with the ground dwellers?
and the crowd sort of starts like laughing and jeering Bobby.
Well, little bird boy, you ain't one of them arboreals, are ya?
And Bobby starts to like look a little bit panicked. He goes,
You know what? I think you is, boy. And I bet you down here trying to do what you did over that museum. But we don't stand for that, do we, people?
some of the people in the crowd are sort of starting to edge away. The average people are starting to look a little bit worried.
Little birdie boy, Mr. Arboreal, it's time you learn a lesson. Cause the ground dwellers, we here to stay.
And he looks back at the band members and they drop their guitars and they grab Bobby Elfish. And he's like trying to pull away, he's trying to yell and he's trying to speak, he's looking around for help. And the drummer walks up. She's holding this weird contraption. Looks like it's been molded out of like strange material. It's like they've taken machines that are from around the city and they've turned it into this weird thing, and it starts like whirring and shaking and the sparks flicker all over it. And the drummer brings it up and there's this big like burst of energy as she's bringing it. It's pulsing away from it and it blows the hood off her head. And you can see there, smiling wildly, is this pink Aarakocra. And you notice a spark of recognition in Bobby's eyes. And she places the device on his chest. And there's just like this immense explosion. And people just start running at this stage. But the people in the crowd in the brown hoods, they're not running. They're cheering and they're jeering. They're just loving every moment of this. And then the spark fades away and Bobby drops to the ground, and for a second he seems like totally normal. But then slowly his wings start to wilt and all of the feathers just fall off his wings. And then, shockingly, in front of you, his wings just completely sever from his body. And he stands there, well, he lays there, completely flightless. And the guy says,
Welcome to the ground dwellers, friend.
and he punches him in the face. At this point, people are just, there's chaos in the room. People have fled, and the only people left are the people in the brown robes and you guys.
Odis, I think this is something that, is, especially just meeting the man in black, like a god purely for justice. I think Odis puts a hand to the side and a whole heap of shadows coalesce into a long blade in his hand as he readies to do something about this.
The lead singer looks out across the crowd and sees Odis, and he goes,
Elephant Man, you don't like what you see?
Odis finishing his cast of Shadow Blade. I don't agree with their actions, but this is just not right. And he takes a step forward.
You don't think we know who you are, do you?
and he opens his arms out to the crowd still behind the magical barrier, and the crowd that's left are just all these brown-robed people, and he goes,
These two,
points at you and Sioc.
they were sent here to try and take away our drummer. We ain't standing for that. She ain't wanna go back. And you two don't even know who I am.
Nor do I care. And he takes another step forward.
Drums start building in this like super aggressive way, and he laughs and he goes,
Well, you about to find out who I am. Cause you think this is a game. Well, this ain't no damn game. Cause my name is Scam.
and and the beat just drops at this point, and this like thunderous explosion of music happens, and it's like the most aggressive sound you've ever heard, and the two guitarists leap off the stage, and the magical barrier drops. The lead singer jumps down off the stage, and the drummer stands up away from the drums. The music continues, and they just walk out of the room. And I'm going to need you guys to roll for initiative. And there you have it. It's episode 8 of season 2 of Sounds Like Adventure. Hope you enjoyed it. And wow, a lot going on in this episode. The man in black, gods making appearances, and now this scam haul seems like he wants to throw down. And that's not to mention what he just did to our buddy Bobby Elfish. Is Bobby even okay after that? But I sense a fight coming before we find out. And to see if the brothers can survive another brawl, well, to find out, you'll have to stick around for the next episode. And to make sure you don't miss that episode, make sure you go over to the podcast app that you're listening to this on right now and subscribe to or follow the show free. And as I always say, I would really appreciate a 5-star review. It means the world to us and it makes such a difference. But also, Sounds Like Relic, it's coming Thursday, second last episode of the series. You don't want to miss it. This is some crazy eldritch stuff that's going on here, and it's so, so fun. But hey, with all that in mind, I'll catch you on Thursday for Sounds Like Relic.